something briefly scurried through the fog and cast a long shadow across the white, still life scene. I turned around and set off across the field, which ended abruptly at a steep slope. I looked down, couldn't see the ground, and thought for an instant about risking a plunge. But my will to survive prevailed. Even the tops of the tall trees below could only be guessed. The dense fog enclosed them like a gigantic cape. Rambo could at least still see the tree when he broke away from the stone wall and leaped into the depths. Completely soaked in sweat, I supported myself with my hands on my thighs, greedily sucking in air and exhaling steam. My lungs burned like fire. Hopefully the snow hadn't blurred my tracks. The thought shot through my head. I turned around. No, I wouldn't kid myself. He would find me faster than I'd like. He just had to find me. It was something personal that needed to be settled once and for all. Noises rang from the forest, which lay like a huge, threatening shadow before me. I straightened, now totally alert. I stopped breathing, looked right and left. For a few seconds, there was an icy silence. Then I saw him. Slowly, his figure peeled out of the dark forest and then stopped. The night, the falling snow, and the foggy forest behind him made him seem unreal. Tall, lanky, with long hair and claws that could tear you to pieces. He just stood there, not a muscle twitching, just like a few minutes ago when we first met and fought. Even though I didn't see his eyes, I felt the cold look that sent a shiver down my spine. Arms dangling forward, in a slightly hunchbacked posture, he stood there and regarded me for half an eternity. I got rid of my thick jacket and turtleneck sweater, which would have hindered me in what I now planned. I immediately felt the cold that stretched its icy fingers, reaching for the warmth of my body. At least now I was awake, refreshed and ready again. Now there was no escape, neither for me nor for him. Gradually, more silhouettes emerged behind him, peeled out of the fog, and staggered directly towards me. They appeared in small groups at first, but their number quickly rose to over 30 as far as I could tell. His army of dull-witted undead, compelled to plunge the world even deeper into chaos. An army he does not even need to command, although I've long suspected him of the capability. My heart suddenly beat in my throat. My salivary glands failed their purpose. Nausea rose in me, and my hands began to tremble. I felt like Arnold in Predator, when he finally stood before the monster face to face and then took a huge beating before chance gave him an idea that saved his ass. I could only hope for such a chance. I had no firearm now, and my knife also lay far away, somewhere beneath the snow. Despite the little surprise I carried hidden in my trouser leg pocket, doubts about my plan plagued me for a few heartbeats. Had I perhaps overestimated myself this time? A very bad time to weigh up the pros and cons of a situation that my big mouth had maneuvered me into. He seemed somehow bigger and more threatening than just a few minutes ago. Suddenly, and with a speed I wouldn't have thought him capable, the dark figure rushed towards me. First on two legs, with short, quick steps, then on all fours, like a rabid animal determined not to miss a sure kill. Almost 30 meters separated us from each other. With every bound and every meter, the creature gained speed, like an onrushing wolf in bloodlust. Only this predator was even more determined, aggressive, and unpredictable. Every time he touched the snow-covered ground, the fog, which resembled a steam rising from a bathtub filled with hot water, fled from his path, as if nature itself feared this creature and voluntarily cleared the way. Another 15 meters. It seemed strange, but with every meter closer, I grew calmer. My hands were no longer shaking. My pulse was almost at rest. A last dreamy look at the cloud-streaked moon, which now hung like a gigantic light bulb over the scene and colored the cold night into a dark gray blue. I reached into my leg pocket and drew the only weapon that could save my life now. I wasn't afraid. Adrenaline coursed through my body. My muscles were on the verge of tearing with tension, and my focus was entirely on the thing in front of me. I had never lost a fight, and I wouldn't fail this time either. With these thoughts, I also began my sprint, directly towards my adversary. "Come on, you bastard,"